All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Lone Star Plate wrap-up show. Pleasure to have you back. This is episode number 4. I guess we're counting them down. Go to full screen here. Okay, bam. All right. Let's see. Going over this week's episode. Basically, that's all we're doing. This is what the wrap-up show is. I just go over the week's episodes we just had. We do 2 a week, and then the following week's episodes that we have coming out. So let's see. Who did we have this week? Oh, we had nothing but authors this week, which was great. Had a lot of fun. Authors are awesome to talk to because they're great with words. Makes sense. Didn't realize that till this week, really. Or actually, after I'd interviewed them. That's what I thought about. I think I said it in one of the podcasts. I'm not sure. But the first guest we had on Tuesday was Cobb. She has a book out called The Hunting Wives. Worldwide, like her first real book, not real book, first novel that got like a big release, worldwide. It's got great reviews. They're calling it like a dark, desperate housewives sort of thing. Takes place in East Texas. She grew up in Longview. And just kind of like, some woman who moves from Chicago, moves to a small town, there's sort of the Stepford Wives sort of thing going on. And then it gets crazy. It's a thriller. She was just cool to talk to. She had another book out, which was, Big Ground or something like that. The Hunting Ground. I guess I should look that up here. I'm not sure. Anyway, check it out. She's got this other book too. But like she said, it wasn't as big a release. Big Woods, that's what it was called. And then, this one was. But what was most cool about this interview with Cobb, if you haven't listened to it, is her honest, reason of why she wrote it, and just the real story of look, I need the money. I had to write this. I sold it halfway. I just appreciated that honesty. Her back was against the wall and she had to make this happen, that's pretty cool. And that's crazy. That's where creative people live sometimes. They live on that edge of, how far do you take your craft, if it's not quote unquote successful, right? That's tough. A lot of people give it up or move on or get something else and slowly get pulled away. That's usually how it happens. You slowly get pulled away, right? Whatever it is, the creative thing that you once did, somebody's always like, I was in a band in high school, me too. I'm that guy too. You're right. It happens. Or I used to write and then I stopped, that sort of thing. So anyway, but she is a writer, but again, she knew she had to get it done and pay the bills and take care of the family. And she did it. And it's a great book. And we just talked, actually talked quite a bit about her book, but we couldn't give away too many spoilers. At the time of the interview, I'd read through like a third of it. I'm like 2/3 of the way through with this. I'm not even through with it yet. It's a great book. Look, I'm just not a big reader. Okay. You don't see a bunch of books behind me, right? You see brick walls. That's what I run into. So the book, it just came out. It's great. The Hunting Wives, please get it. I'm not sure if there's a like an Audible version. I don't know how I feel about listening to books. I guess I've listened to some, but I don't really enjoy it that much, to be honest. I know it's like a huge thing. Everyone, loves to listen to the book, but like if the person reading it isn't exciting, hey, it sucks. I mean, it just totally takes you out of, what's going on. I don't know. Plus, you're going to listen to a book. It's 28 hours. Jesus Christ. I mean, that's just too, that's too long. I know a book is really long, but it doesn't feel like that when you're reading it, There's something about it. I don't know. And this comes from someone who barely reads. I'd probably get through more books if I just listened to them. That should be the thing, featuring blah blah blah, reading the book. That should be the new thing. You get this huge, Sam Jackson. I would literally listen to any book he put out. So look here, I'm throwing out $1 million ideas over here. Anyway, Cobb, yeah, she was awesome. I don't know. Tell me how you feel about her. If anything, I I think she's cool. So yeah, May Cobb, check her out. Hunting wife. She's from Austin, lives in Austin now. And then the second guest we had on Thursday today, okay, that we released was Stacey Swann. She's another Austin author, released a book called Olympus, Texas. And that is definitely, same sort of, style with May, really. And another Texan, I think the great thing about Stacey was, like, we barely got into her book, to be honest with you, because we were just having a good time talking, just talking about writing and philosophies and this and that and where it would go. And, sort of the reason I love podcasting. But, she had some cool things to say about, like, if you're from Texas, writing about Texas, and if you're not from Texas, writing about Texas. Can people outside of Texas write about Texas? And what do they get right? And what do they focus on if they do get it right? What are they leaving out? What are the things, right? It's always cowboys and horses and, border stuff, right? Like, that's it. That's usually what it is. And 6-shooters, and there's so much more to Texas, right? So, anyway, she was cool. She was really, really sweet. It's a great book. Definitely check it out. This is her debut novel. So she's written a lot, short stories and done stuff, just been writing her whole life, but this, been working towards this. And it's also cool to talk to authors too, like how they pick which idea to invest years of their life into. That's got to be like, you could be halfway into a story going and then come up with a better one. That would drive me nuts. That's why I could never write a book. It would but at the same time, I guess you get invested in the characters and you want to see them through. I guess a little bit of both. But it's cool to talk to them about that, how they pick the idea, then they massage it and what it comes into. And they both, Stacey really dug into that in her book with Olympus, Texas. And how she came up with that idea. And again, that's going to be your debut novel. Everyone's going to judge you off of that first book you write, and it's got rave reviews. It's cool to, talk to some Texans who, made their dreams happen, put something together. It took years, and that's exciting. Okay. Timothy says, "Oh, Tim, you're watching. Thanks. There you go, buddy. Got a notification. I'm trying, my man. We're trying to get this going. I'm hoping this gets more views on the rewatch. Okay. Look at that. 3 live. How we doing, folks? Thank you for joining us. Lone Star Plate wrap-up show, where basically all I'm doing is going over this week's episodes, the 2 guests that we have, and then talking about the guests that we have coming out next week, and any other podcast stuff and any other shit that comes up in the chat. Pardon my French. Yes, there will be adult language. If you listen to the podcast, I got a potty mouth. Someone just clicked off, right? They jumped on and they were like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I scared them off. Anyway, Stacey Swann, Olympus, Texas. Great book. Phenomenal. Definitely recommend checking it out. And, these are 2 women, May Cobb and Stacey Swann. Great episodes this week. And just look, you want to write a novel? That is like no joke. Okay. Definitely respect people who do this and do it well. And they're both great stories behind the scenes of how it happened and just their novels themselves. And they write about, where they're from and what they know. And, that's exciting. That's cool. It's good to have people represent Texas from Texas, help get some things right, let people know. So anyway, okay. Next week we have some awesome episodes coming out. Vincent Hancock, he's a 2-time gold medalist with skeet shooting. Shotguns, right? You ever seen that? I didn't really know what it was called. Skeeting. I'm not sure. Skeetai. I'm not sure what the plural is, but yeah, 2-time gold medalist. Okay, this guy's the best of the best. Okay, multi, champion, world time champion, whatever the term is, world champion. I guess that's it. And he was. When you talk to people that are so disciplined, there's something about even the conversation you get from them is disciplined. There's no fat in the conversation either. Like they even know how to like, do the conversation well. He was really cool to talk to. So we've had Michelle Carter on, who's going to be in the Olympics in Japan as a shot putter. Okay. Also gold medalist, also best in the world ranked right now, and from Texas. And now we got Vincent Hancock, okay, representing Texas as well. 2-time gold medalist. Again, world champion multiple times over, and going back to hopefully get another gold. But what was cool is I learned about skeet, the different style. There's European style, there's American, there's where you hold the gun, where the end of the gun goes, whatever that's called, the stock. I'm not sure. You think I'm from Texas, like I'm this big gun guy. I'm not. Okay, I'm not. I've been around guns, I've shot them, just don't own them. Not a big gun guy. Anyway, yeah, he was just cool. We learned about just the skeet and what it is. And look, the guy shoots 30,000 rounds a year to train for skeet shooting. That's insane. That's a lot of rounds. And another thing, we sort of talked about, like, look, you're working with guns, right? That's sort of a big thing. Depending on where you are in the world, guns have a certain stigma to them. I know in America what people think of guns. It's even divided here. What people think of outside of America, what they look at as Americans with guns, like, oh, Americans and their guns, right? We have more guns than people, right? That's a crazy statistic that people, point out or think about for sure. Anyway, we sort of get into that a little bit. It was cool that he would talk about it a little bit, not too much. It didn't get political or anything, but look, he works with guns. That's what he does. It's nice to get his perspective, but just him like letting us know that, first of all, it's the safest sport in the world, skeet shooting. It's one of the safest sports in the world. And they work with guns. No casualties ever. That's crazy. Okay. I would say more people die from football, right? Just the crushes to the head. This guy ain't taking no crushes to the head. If anything, just his trigger finger, right? Like, so let's be real here. What's safer? It's a crazy argument, never really looked at it from that perspective, to be honest with you. So yeah, kind of brings up some questions. Right? It's a good podcast. It leaves you with some questions, and somebody to cheer for in Japan this summer, another Texan to cheer for. So when you see Vincent Hancock, okay, we want him to win gold, baby. I mean, all the Americans, but especially Vincent. And of course, Michelle Carter, call back, shout out to a past episode. Just came out not too long ago. Okay. And then also next week, we have an episode with Betty Sue, a musician that's in a band, like a power group band called Nobody's Girl. They're out of Austin, Texas. So you've got, let me see who the members are here. So Betty Sue's is one. It's basically like a super group of, artists. Where is there we go. Okay. So we've got Betty Sue, Rebecca Loeb, and Grace Pettis. Okay. And they make this super group called Nobody's Girl. And so Betty Sue came on to talk about it. They got their first album out. They're going on tour, right? Things are opening up. Bands are back. Look, what I've been saying is this is the best summer to go out and hear a band right now. People are super excited to see, live music, especially here in the States, especially here in Texas. Let's be real, right? We've been stuck at home and people are ready to get out. So yeah, they're going on tour. And she sang a song. I got to say, it's one of the best songs we've ever heard on the Lone Star Plate. And we've had a lot of people play music on here. A lot of people have played songs on here, and she killed it. Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. And it's one of their songs. And she said, well, and I don't even have the harmonies, right? The other two girls sing. So I can't even imagine that song with everybody. Anyway, that was a cool interview. She was super fun, down to earth. Look, especially when I've never met somebody, I don't know how they're going to be. I know that's the case with anybody, right? Going in, I'm sure that what I'm about to say could be said for any guest I have. But with musicians, they're so unique. They're just so unique. You just don't know who you're going to get, what they're going to be like, their personality. Regardless of the music they play, by the way, that has nothing to do with it. Okay. I promise you, But she was so cool, so down to earth. We had such a fun conversation, so funny. She's super cool. She's kind of like super funny and goofy, and then like gets super serious with her music. That's cool. I like that. I can respect that. That could be the case sometimes. And again, beautiful song. Great episode coming out next week. I highly recommend it. So anyway, okay, so let's just wrap this up, at least the guest real quick before we move on to the last little segment here. Okay, so the week's episode we had this week, May Cobb. Check out her book, The Hunting Wives. It's a great episode talking about that. And then Stacey Swann with Olympus, Texas. Yeah, two great authors. And then next week, again, Vincent Hancock, gold medalist, two-time gold medalist, going to the Olympics again in Japan. Great episode. And Betty Sue with Nobody's Girl, another amazing episode. Look, we're putting out great episodes, okay? That is the truth. We got the end of the season's coming up, end of July. We're going to be our last episode. We'll take a break and then be back for season 4 just right after Labor Day. We have some awesome stuff planned. We're putting together like a live event, okay, in Austin. That's sort of under the radar, but this is where we release that information. We're going to be putting on picking a venue. We're going to have music and food, and we're going to make this real. We're going to do something on a stage and interview, a guest on a stage, and we're going to sell tickets. And so if you're in Austin, I highly recommend looking out for that and keep, staying tuned with us to find out about that and how you can come. It'll be sometime in September. So right before ACL, it'll be perfect. That's exciting. And something different. We'll see if that's something that I know people do it, but, they're a little more well-known than us per se. But we got to give it a go. That's just what we got to do. So, and look, there's a lot, I think the worst thing is really all the people that help work on this podcast, like that they can't be there. Because look, guys, everyone that helps work on this podcast, we're a lot of us are remote, we're spread out, and it's just how it is, right? It's 2021. So anyway, we'll see if we can make that happen. But that's exciting. What else? That's it. That's it. We have some cool guests coming up. Who did we book? Oh, I'm interviewing Dale Hansen next week. I'm recording that episode. So that'll be out before the end of the season. He's retiring in September. And Dale Hansen is retiring, a big sportscaster up in Dallas area. Very well known here. He's a legend. We already had him on. It's one of the longest episodes we've ever done, to be honest with you. I tell this funny story. I had to cut him off in the interview because I had to interview somebody literally 5 minutes after. It was, I took that interview to the last second I could. He was so thoughtful, telling great stories. So cool. Can't wait to have him back on and just talk about, I guess, what he's going to do now that he's retiring. Maybe start a podcast. That's what people do, right? So, got that. Oh, we got Aaron Franklin coming on from, Franklin Barbecue in Austin. Hello. With Tyson Cole. Look at that. Tyson Cole and Aaron Franklin together, and me. and me. So Tyson Cole with Uchi, everybody knows. Both, James Beard award-winning chefs. Aaron is considered like the best pitmaster in the world, some might say. You've seen him in movies. You've seen him in TV. You've seen him everywhere, right? He's got his own master class you can get. I'm super excited to talk to them. And they're, so him and Tyson, and Tyson's, a master of his cuisine and what he does, again, both just revolutionary chefs. It's going to be an honor. Super excited to have them on. But they have their concept called Loro that they opened together. It's like a Japanese sort of, barbecue spot, right? Sort of taking the old dance halls of Texas and, giving it that that thing. So super exciting. Tim says, I have his masterclass. It's amazing. Of Aaron Franklin. Yeah. Absolutely. I totally, learning how to cook brisket. Did you know? I mean, most people don't even know that, right? Like just even how to slice it, there's a way to do it. So, yeah, super, super cool. Super excited to have them on. And, I can't believe we have them on together. Again, this is going to be a masterclass in podcasting. I'm going to tell you right now. So if there's any question you want me to ask Aaron Franklin, you guys let us know and I'll make sure to ask them. But yeah, they have their concept Loro and they're opening one here in Dallas, and just sort of promotion for opening that we were able to squeeze in and get them on. So yeah, I'm super excited to have them on. That's going to be an exciting interview. We have a lot of cool interviews coming up, guys. Super excited. So, and hoping to grow this show, get this show growing, get it popping. But I don't promote it very much, to be honest with you guys. Okay. I just sort of getting used to this. I want to have more guests on and stuff, but it's hard to get people to come on. People are afraid. They don't want to talk on a mic. I don't know what the deal is. My friends don't want to come on. They're like, I don't want to talk on a mic. But why? Because it's live. You say something, that's it. You're done for. You can't go back. But see, I don't worry about that stuff, y'all. It is what it is. I'll say, but then again, I might have a job that could let me go. I don't have that either. So I get it. I don't have to worry about that. My job is like doing this, right? So anyway, yeah, that's exciting. Cool interviews coming up. We're really pushing it for the next season, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, it's exciting what's going to be happening. And we have a cool episode coming out that I did with our sister podcast called Factual America, which is another podcast you should check out. Where the best documentaries that come out that you see on Netflix and HBO and Hulu and wherever you see them, right? We get those filmmakers on and they get interviewed by the other host is called Matthew Sherwood. He's a Texan living in the UK, just outside London. I don't know if he's outside London. He could be a few hours. Not sure where exactly he is, but anyway, it's a great podcast. He has amazing interviews. They're, getting popular. They've got some good stuff. And anyway, we teamed up and co-hosted a podcast and interviewed someone from the director and producer from a documentary called The State of Texas versus Melissa, or Melissa versus State of Texas, one of those two. Crazy story, absolutely insane. It's on Hulu and you can get it on Amazon too, which is where I watched it on Amazon. It's absolutely insane, this story. And she is connected, this filmmaker, to this story. So look for that episode coming out. And anyway, it's just a cool experience to co-host with somebody. It was different. That was different, typically, right? I do this podcast, it's just me and whoever the guests are. Now that might be multiple guests, but it's from this side, it's always just me. Although I've wanted to co-host for a long time. We'll see if that ever happens, but it's hard to coordinate schedules. That's really what it comes down to. But to be honest with you, I would love to have a co-host, someone to just shoot stuff off with. Does that doesn't make sense? Bounce stuff off. Anyway, I managed not to spill my coffee this time. So anyway, guys, we're wrapping up. Really appreciate everyone watching. And yeah. Join us every Thursday, 7:30 Central, wrap-up show, learn stuff, hear stuff, ask me questions. You want to know some behind-the-scenes stuff about the podcast, anything, I'm right here. A guest we had, I'll shoot it straight. I'll tell you anything. So anyway, all right, Thursday, 7:30 Central. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And follow us on Instagram too, Lone Star Plate TX. That's where we're the most active because it's just too many social media, y'all. Just getting drowned out there with all that stuff. We need to get our TikTok going. I'm going to figure that out one day. We're going to do that. So again, thank you so much for watching. Please check out this week's episodes. They're in links in the description, and look forward to next week's episodes. All right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, I'm your host, Patrick Scott Armstrong from Dallas, Texas. This is the Lone Star Plate Podcast wrap-up show. We'll see you next time.